Day 2, segment 3.
I just love the way you do that. I'm like, we need one of those things where you snap it, like, and I went the little LED thing. Hi, I'm Scot Kenkel.
And we're back.
And we're back, yeah. Thank God I took a pill. So we have the two kinds of, four types of questions. The must-haves, information you have to have. The throw-offs, information you don't really care about. And those are all interspersed. So, sometimes when you are conversational, you start taking that question that you don't really care about. It's a filler, and that's what I would call a throw-off. It's a throw-off. You don't really care what the answer is, but it looks like you're really interested. What color was it? Now, we get into the knockdowns and the comparatives, and the specific design of the questions is to get them to start questioning their thinking. We agree on a couple of things, I hope. Every seller thinks their home's worth more than everyone else's.
Correct.
Always. But how they've come to that, we don't really understand. So some of these knockdowns are really going to help challenge their perception. So some examples of a knockdown. Now remember, this is a situation that is like all the time. We always know that they always think their home is always better than everyone else's always. Always. It's always. That's the way it is. They always want more. They think it's worth more. So we're in there asking the questions, and we got through some of the, the must-haves and the throw-offs, and we're down to the part about, so, Jim, what do you guys think your home is worth? And Jim's answer is, as I expected, because he told me on the phone. He says, well, we think it's worth about, say $300,000. Is this the time when I'm going to tell you that you're wrong?
No.
No. So you got to be very careful with your ego, because your ego is going to want to jump up and say, wait a minute, you don't know what I know. You're wrong. Instead, I just use a knockdown question like this. Well, let me ask you something. What if you found out your home was only worth $200,000? What would you do? Would you still sell it or stay here forever? In their mind, what's going on is they can't escape the question. They can't let go of the question. But partially, they're going to think to themselves, well, I wonder if he knows something we don't know. Do you think it's only worth $200,000? In a lot of cases, that's what they're going to say. Well, no, I was just asking. I mean, what if? What if it was only worth $200,000? What would you do? And you let them just dwell on it for a little bit. Here's another one. Because this one's kind of fun. You can almost always predict their answer. After you ask the question, Joe, how long have you guys lived here? And they tell you, 13 years. Great. How much did you guys pay for the house? Do you remember back that far?
$30,000.
Really? Wow. Would you take that for it today?
Yeah.
See, all it did is I always know what their answer is going to be. When I ask it like that, I always know their answer is going to be no or hell no. But what it does is I start to set the stage for maybe what you're going to sell it for isn't going to be what you think it is. Here's another one. How did you come to that number? I mean, how did you guys come to thinking it's worth $400,000? And they say to you, well, and this is where they do magic math. Okay, magic math is always fun because it has nothing to do with reality. And they say it's real simple. We owe $350, and we figured in order for us to pay you, we'd have to sell it for about $400. That gives a little bit of room for negotiating, and that's how they came to $400. Here's a great knockdown follow-on question. Because remember the logic, owe $350, enough for you, $400. Well, what if you only owed $150? Would you then sell it for $200? And watch their reaction, because here's what their reaction would be: hell no! No, I mean, we'd sell it for $400. All we're doing is we're just giving them something to think about. Here's another knockdown. So did you guys do a lot of work to your house? And they say, oh yeah, see, that could be a throw-off. If I don't need the information, it could be a throw-off. And they say, no, we didn't really do anything other than paint and clean. But what if they say, well, we remodeled the kitchen. Really? When? And they say, oh, I guess it was back about 4 years ago. Really? Did you do a lot? See the animation? Did you do a lot to it? And they're like, because they think that you care. I mean, I don't really care, but I'm acting like I. So really, did you do it yourself or have someone else do it? Magic math. If they did it themselves, they think whatever they did was worth 5 times more. And if they hired a pro, then you got another piece of information for later on. Because if they did it themselves and they did their own kitchen, Or they hired a pro, that's going to work into another conversation. So they say, no, we hired someone, we spent about 50 grand. Really? Wow, can't wait to see it. Did you like it? Now what do you think they'll say to that? Every time, oh yeah. You must have really enjoyed it. Whose idea was it? Was it yours? Yeah. Let me ask you this, what if you don't get that money back? Did you still enjoy it? And what are they going to say to that? Oh yeah, but are you saying we're not going to get our money back? Because magic math goes like this, whatever we bought it for plus appreciation, and anything we spent on it plus extra, equals what we're going to sell it for. Ask them this question, how'd you come up with that price? They say, well, the one up the street sold for, and they give you the number. But in your mind, you already know that the one up the street was bigger, better condition, and actually sold for much less. So you have a challenge there. They say the one up the street sold for more, and ours is better than theirs, so ours must be worth $500,000 because they're sold for $400,000. But you know it's sold for $300,000, so what do? Tell them they're wrong, or let them be wrong. And so all you do is you let them tell you, well, that one sold for $400,000, therefore ours is worth $500,000. That's magic math. So do this follow-on knockdown question. Well, what if you found out it only sold for $300,000? Would you sell yours then for $400,000? All we're doing is we're taking their logic and knocking them down, just knocking them down and knocking them down. We're not doing it insultingly. Did any of those questions sound like insults? So the knockdown question will help put you in a position where they're now thinking. It's almost like the doctor. Go back to the doctor. The doctor comes in, and all he's really done is, at this point, he's looked at all your information, he's looked at your chart, he's put the stethoscope up, he's looked into your ear, and now he's just sitting there doing this. Do you think he's got good news or bad news? Bad news. And so, when he gives you good news, how do you feel? You do. So he brings you down, brings you back up. The purpose of a knockdown question, bring you down, bring them back up. And when you bring them up, they're like, ooh, this is great, which we'll talk more about in pricing. Okay, we're going to go into the next segment, which is the comparatives. They're way fun. Kill.